Would it be fair to say that a 200-year design capacity system would actually be a pretty substantial improvement over what we have today?
It would be an improvement, yes.
Okay. I know for all the folks, I guess, that over in Powell Acres and the other folks of us that are downstream, obviously if we get more of these, maybe someday we'll go back, some of the folks are saying, hey, obviously we have a discharge that's much worse than it has been, and we start heading in this direction with other projects. Maybe eventually we'll get back to par where we were 20 or 30 years ago and start detaining more water.
Something to look to in terms of your ordinances, whether you want to modify how much you be going
I do have to jump in here and point out that some of the storms, and I've had to explain this to a lot of people in the last couple of years, that some of the storms that we have had recently really cannot be compared to a model storm. I mean, you can look at, and I don't want to bring up climate change or global warming or anything like that, but some of the storms have been closer to something you might see in the tropics. When you get a really intense storm over a short period of time, and you can't even compare it. I mean, if a 100-year storm is 6.5 inches of rain in 24 hours, what do you do in Nashville when they get 16 inches of rain?
We can't model for that.
You can't model for that. A few years ago we got 5 inches of rain over in Fox Run subdivision. It's a very localized microburst. We got 5 inches of rain in 40 minutes. How do you model for that? Well, you just run.
High ground.
So, I mean, there are always going to be events that cause drainage ways to top their banks and create problems. Who would have thought that on April 27th of this year that every catch basin in the town of Farragut would be plugged up with ice and sticks and leaves, followed by 4 inches of rain, which that created some really huge problems that we had no way of preparing for. So I just have to point that out and say that you're only as good as your model. And something beyond that is still going to be a problem.
Find the information you wanted to present there.
If you can point for me, Ruth. If you go up to where the retaining wall turns, go back down right there. At that point, from that point south, it's 15 feet or less, the height of the retaining wall. Yeah, it goes down to nothing at the end. If you go back up to that angled portion, that goes from 15 feet to the other corner, which is about 24 feet. And then from there, it tapers off to nothing. So the worst part is going to be in that corner right there, which is probably 100, 150 feet where you're exceeding 20-foot height.
Anybody else that has any questions or comments? Then do I have a motion?
I'll move to, go ahead. Okay, I'll move to approve, subject to the staff's recommendations.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Discussion and public hearing on the site plan for Walgreens, 10703 Kingston Pike, located on the northwest corner of Kingston Pike and Lovell Road, parcels 34.01 and 35, tax map 131, 1.3 acres, zone C1, to additional parking, SM and M Properties applicant.
This is the existing Walgreens, and it is the kind of the corner of the heart of the discussion that we've had this evening. And currently, here is the property line right here, and here is the property line that defines this. They had currently a joint parking easement in this area, and obviously with the site plan that you all just approved, this is going to become a driveway. And as part of the subdivision plat, that is going away. They have enough parking on site, but Walgreens, as part of their corporate, requires additional parking. And so what they are actually proposing to do is add parking on the north side of the building there. They will be eliminating that driveway because there's going to be a retaining wall there. They're taking the curb through here, and they're going to be adding the parking spaces up here. They have increased the lot size accordingly to accommodate this, and staff recommends approval of this site plan subject to coordinating the property owner information. There's different information on the site plan versus what's on the plat, so we just kind of want to get that coordinated. Correcting the scales, submitting a letter of credit for the erosion control, and meeting all town requirements.
Applicant have any problems with those? Will you please get up there and tell us that, please? Out
Need you on
loud.
the record, Chris.
It would have been wonderful if we wouldn't have had to have given more property to a piece of property that's already not meeting town's code, but we,
It developed as meeting the town requirements, so let's clarify. And
We're
what
aiming to
happened is
please.
they acquired more right-of-way, and so, yes.
Take
And
one
now-
for the
but now
team.
they're complying, so.
So you agree with all these 4 requirements then?
I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna be overlooking.
Have any more questions? Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing on proposed location of new utilities.
None at this time.
The January 21st meeting is adjourned.
Before you all leave, let me make a few comments
Okay, I can't see
for those who
that
are still listening.
shadow, so, thank you.
30 years and more ago, Knox County was in charge out here, and they did not do a good job on any aspect of community, whether it was signs or drainage or whatever. Drainage issues were everywhere. And in fact, those issues are a great part of the reason why a town of Farragut exists today. Obviously, we've got a lot of legacy that we picked up from Knox County that we have to deal with every day. But at least for new developments, we can get it right, and that's our intent all the time. And if you do look at some of the newer developments, you'll see they don't have the problem that everybody else around here does. We've got issues that we could not possibly solve, I don't think. And I don't know the dates, but I suspect those houses in Powell Acres predate the town of Farragut, so it's just another Knox County legacy issue. I felt the need to say that just for the record, but people need to understand what we're dealing with here and still dealing with. Thankfully, Knox County government has become a lot better than it was 35 years ago.
Think of a three-man commission or three-person commission.
Trust me, if you didn't live here then, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Wow. Folks like
I'd just
Powell
like to
Acres,
say
everyone
that
voted we am
the
in.
meeting tonight is so different than when this town was first formed. There's nothing like going before. People were